Hey everyone, it's me Bailey and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here with the first of my videos that are going to be about 2022, and had to kick off with the top 22 books I want to read in 2022. So a lot of these books are actually going to be carryovers from 2021 that I didn't get a chance to get to, that I am hoping to get to in 2022. So I'm excited about this list. I feel like it's a very wide range of books, and I'm excited to maybe possibly get to them all. I'm hoping to possibly read approximately 2 a month next year to be able to get to all of them, unlike this year where I didn't get to all of them, but that's okay. Like I said, I am carrying a few over from 2021 that I am hoping to get to in 2022 again. And so yeah, we're just gonna get into it. I have a list on my phone of the top 22 books that I'm hoping to read in 2022. So the first book is one that I have been trying to read since 2019, and you guys are probably not even going to be surprised by this first one because I feel like I've been saying that I've been wanting to read this absolutely forever, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Shout out to Sarah for this absolutely stunning paperback edition of Strange the Dreamer. It was a gift for my birthday, so thank you, Sarah. And yeah, so this is book number 1. All I know is this is about Laszlo Strange, and I believe he is a librarian or lives in a library or something of that nature. I've heard this book absolutely raved about, and it's literally disgusting that I haven't picked it up yet, but hopefully I can get to it in 2022. So the next book on this list is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. And this, I think, is about a witch or something who happens to summon a demon. I think his name is Wrath, and I think it's a love story, maybe. I have read a couple of Carrie Maniscalco's books in the past. I have read Stalking Jack the Ripper and Hunting Prince Dracula, but I did not enjoy Stalking Jack the Ripper because I found it entirely too predictable, but I did enjoy Hunting Prince Dracula a little bit more. So I'm planning on still giving Carrie Maniscalco a go. It's just if I can get to it. So hopefully I can get to it. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say hopefully I can get to it because we're only on the second book, and I feel like I've already said it 18 times, but hopefully I can just get to all the books. So book number 3 on this list is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Maharan. And honestly, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I have no idea what this book is about. And as you just saw, there was a note that fell out of it, and that is because it was a birthday gift from Justine. So shout out to Justine for this book. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to read this. So book number 4 is another carryover from 2021, and that is The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. And this, I believe, is about vampires, and it's set in New Orleans, I think in the 20s. And that's all I need to know, because New Orleans and vampires, sign me up. Sign me up. Literally, if you've seen the originals, I just have a feeling that I will be picturing the originals as these characters. Literally, I'm just really excited to get to this one. Book number 5 that is also being carried over from my list from 2021 is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure what this one is about, but I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about it, and I cannot wait to pick it up. So now we're getting into a few new releases that will be coming out during the year that I'm hoping to read during the year. When they come out, I'll probably end up reading them pretty soon after they come out. And so the first book is going to be House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, and I'm so excited for this book. You guys probably know that I love Sarah J. Maas on this channel. A Court of Thorns and Roses is probably one of my all-time favorite series. It's literally my profile picture. I absolutely love love Sarah J Maas and I buy pretty much every book that she writes. So yeah, but I am really excited to get to this one. I probably am going to end up rereading House of Earth and Blood before the release of House of Sky and Breath, just to refresh my memory. So the next book on this list is The War of Two Queens by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is the 4th book in the From Blood and Ash series. So if you saw my video from last year, you would know that From Blood and Ash was on my top 21 books to read in 2021 list, and I actually did get a chance to read it in 2021. I did actually binge read the whole series, so I'm super excited for this 4th book to come out because the ending of the 3rd book was so good, and I just cannot wait to dive back into this world and pick up right where we left off with Poppy and Hawk and the whole gang. The next book is Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey, and this is the 2nd book in the Ballinger Sisters series. And so I did read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I was given an arc of it by Edelweiss, and so I absolutely loved It Happened One Summer. Like, I ended up buying a finished copy because I love that book so much. And so Hook, Line, and Sinker is coming out in 2022, and so I had to put this on this list because I knew that I would absolutely have to read it. So I'm so excited to get to that one in 2022 as well. So the next book on this list is For the Wolf by Hannah Winton, and this, I believe, is like a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, and that's pretty much all I know. I don't really know anything else. I think it has to do with like these people having to send one girl into the woods every X amount of years, and they're supposed to be eaten by the wolf, and this girl ends up going and ends up not getting eaten. And I think it ends up being that the wolf isn't actually like a wolf, like it's a man. So not sure, but this sounded really good, and I had my eye on it because I absolutely love the cover, and I just think it's so stunning, this book. So I'm so excited to hopefully get to this one in 2022 as well. So the next book that I'm hoping to get to in 2022 is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni, and this was also given to me as a birthday gift from my friend Steph over at Steph's Bookish World. So shout out to Steph for this book. Thank you so much. I am so excited to get to this. I have heard good things about this. I know that Justine and Valisa both read it. They ended up reading it together as a buddy read, and I know they both really enjoyed the first book, but then I know they both didn't really enjoy the second book because I think it was like having second book syndrome or something like that. But from like the premise, this sounds like a really good, interesting book. And this is about this girl who is in this prison, and I believe she's a healer, and there's a queen that's in there, and she has to compete in these trials, but she is sick. So the healer has to compete in her place, and I think maybe has to do with somebody getting out of jail if you win. Not 100% sure, could be making that up, but super excited, super excited. The next book that I'm hoping to get to in 2022 is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, and shout out to Valisa for gifting me this book for my birthday. This is one of Valisa's favorite books, so I am so excited to pick this one up and hopefully love it. I know they just announced the cover for the second book recently, and it was absolutely stunning. So hopefully I enjoy this book and like the series and keep going with it. But as far as I know, this is about a girl who ends up going to a school where there are these people who are like secret magicians, and she like finds out that she can do magic, and I think there's like some murders and stuff involved, maybe, not 100% sure, but yeah, super excited to pick this one up. The next book on this list is The Song of Achilles by Madison Miller, and I have heard pretty mixed things about this. I heard that it'll either make you sob and cry like a baby, or you literally hate it. So I'm interested to see which side of the spectrum I fall on. But as far as I know, this is a retelling of the Iliad, which I never actually had to read that for school. So I don't know how this will compare to that. Plus I don't know a whole lot about Greek mythology, but I've heard that this is very digestible if you don't know a whole lot about Greek mythology. But I have also heard that the more that you know about Greek mythology, the more connection that you will feel to the characters and to this book. So like I said, excited to see where I fall on the spectrum of either absolutely sobbing or absolutely hating this book. The next book on this list is Ninth House by Malibu Rising, and this is a dark academia book set in Yale, I believe, and I think it has something to do with like an underground society and possibly witches and stuff. I don't know. This book and Legendborn seem very similar in the premise to me. However, this one is an adult version and that is a YA version. So I'm excited to see like how they compare. Like I don't think that they will be like the same or anything by any means, but I do feel like the premise is pretty similar. But I have been wanting to pick up Ninth House for a while, and so I'm excited to see if I end up liking this. I absolutely love this cover, and yeah, I'm excited to read something else by Malibu Rising because so far the only book that has hit for me from Malibu Rising has been Six of Crows, and that is it. Everything else has been not a hit, but definitely not a miss, just very average. So I'm excited to see where this one falls. Hopefully it hits. The next book on this list is A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is the first book in the Kingdom of Flesh and Fire or Flesh and Fire series. It is the prequel to From Blood and Ash that follows the god Nikitos and basically his story with his lover and like consort way before the events of From Blood and Ash. I've heard that the books are very similar in like the storyline and like the premise, but I think it's supposed to be like that because obviously like history repeating itself and stuff. So I'm excited to see how the two compare and if they really are similar. So the next book on this list is Fable by Adrienne Young, and I know that this is about pirates and that's really it. It reminds me a lot, just looking at the cover, of the movie Brave. So I don't know if this is anything close to that movie, but I do just know that it's about pirates, and I do know that this cover is absolutely stunning, and with the other one it makes a face. So that's really all I know, but I have heard that this is really good, so I'm excited to possibly pick this one up. The next book on this list is one that I am really excited about, and that is Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Imide. I think that's how you say that. I probably just absolutely butchered this, but I've heard absolutely phenomenal things about this book. I've heard that this is a book that everyone needs to read at least once in their lifetime, and I'm excited to pick it up. I know that it is basically Gossip Girl meets Get Out, and those are two things that I absolutely enjoyed, that I really liked when I watched both Gossip Girl and Get Out. So I'm excited to read this, and like I said, I've heard absolutely phenomenal things about this, so yeah, super excited for this one. So the next book on this list is The Poppy War by R.F. Kong, and again, I've heard really good things about this. I know this is about a woman who goes to fight in a war. I've heard this is a very powerful story, and I'm really excited to pick this up. Plus, I absolutely love the cover on this. Like, I think it's so pretty. So the next book on this list is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kimmerer, and this was kindly gifted to me by my friend Jess over at Civility and Read, and she got this for me for my birthday, so shout out to Jess, thank you. I've heard this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and like I said earlier, A Court of Thorns and Roses is absolutely one of my favorite series of all time, and so I figured I would be down for another Beauty and the Beast retelling. So I'm really excited to pick this up and get to it in 2022. The next book on this list is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair, and this is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and that's pretty much all I know about it. I know that this cover is absolutely stunning. Hi, okay, so I'm editing this video and I did not realize that it cut out where it did. I thought it cut out a lot later than it did. So I was basically just saying that I thought A Touch of Darkness, the cover was absolutely stunning, and then I started talking about how I want to read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and how I think it's told in like an interview style format. So yeah, sorry about that. I know that they're both done in like an interview type of situation. I think Evelyn's being interviewed about her husbands or something. Not 100% sure, but I was wanting to read that one before I read this next one because I know that there's a character from that book kind of in this next book that I'm going to talk about, which is Malibu Rising, also by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this is about 4 siblings who throw this like really big party, and so these are the kids of Mick Riva, who is in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I want to read that one before I read this one to see kind of how he was with Evelyn to how he fits into this. So I'm excited to see how that happens. And yeah, like I said, I read Daisy Jones and the Six, and so I'm hoping to enjoy both this and Evelyn Hugo. So we'll see. Okay, so we are now to the final book on this list, and that is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. And this, I believe, is a new adult fantasy about a girl who is like the princess to like a kingdom of some sort, and she has to marry the king of like the Bridge Kingdom and like infiltrate that kingdom and take it over for her family and like kill him. But then when she gets there, it's like not what she has been taught to believe it's been. So sounds very good, and it's not a very long book, so but I do know that it is a series, so I'm hoping that I really enjoy this book and that I can pick it up in 2022. Alright, so that is 22 books that I'm hoping to get to in 2022. I'm really excited about all of the books that I've picked that I can hopefully get to next year, and I'm excited to see how my reading journey is going to go in 2022, and hopefully maybe I'll be able to get to all of the books on this list. I definitely did take a pretty big chunk out of my 21 books to read in 2021 list, so hopefully I can read more off of my list for the books that I want to read in 2022 than I did in 2021. So yeah, I think that's going to try and be one of my goals for 2022. If you're planning on reading any of these books in 2022, let me know down in the comments. I'm excited to hear. And also, if you have read any of these books and loved or hate them, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, so I think that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You don't have to, it would be awesome if you did. I'll have all of my social medias linked down in the description if you want to follow me or be friends, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.